As South Africa commemorates the 30th anniversary of democracy, this morning we take a look at the sounds that have defined every decade since 1994. Amapiano may be the dominant form of music coming out of the country at the moment, but there's still a rich history of the country's popular tunes prior to it, from Kwaito to your bubblegum music. So this morning we look at how the music scene has evolved over the years, and joining us for this discussion is award-winning producer Godfrey Guffy Pilane, and as well as award-winning producer and now radio broadcaster DJ Cleo. Gents, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome.
Morning.
Good to see you, man. Good to have you.
Yeah, man. Good to be here.
I'm having such a groupy moment here.
Imagine me next to him.
I can only imagine. Dude, I can only imagine. You know, just looking at you, listening to you, I'm reminded of my youth, when I know that not everybody would believe that I used to eat Dickies and All Stars and Grasshoppers.
We also don't.
Listening to Kwaito music.
Yeah.
You know, in my era, when you have to fast forward a song or rewind a song, you just had to insert a pen in one of the two holes of the TDT cassette and just spin it rigorously. Yeah. So how has music changed, evolved from that day till today, Goofy?
Well, today we live in the world of digital. Back then it was analog more than digital, and some things changed. They evolved from one point to another. Yeah. For instance, I mean, I grew up listening to, like, trying to mimic Brachigo, Selotala, the way they produce music, and I would listen carefully to what they put in the sound.
And to interject, I grew up listening to him.
You
know, and fast forward to, I think, 2003, where I was seated at Empress Palace next to him, outside. He just knows me as this guy who works at YFM, who's a DJ. And I'm relaying stories of how he inspired me to get into production. This is before any of my songs blew up, you know, and fast track to today, where we seated on the same couch talking about how music has evolved.
Back then.
From then to now. You know, so this is a surreal moment for me.
Nice. I can only imagine, man. And you guys both produced, you know, quite a few songs during the Kwaito era, from the likes of Zonke by Kabelo, Mthandazo Wabolova by the late Brown Dash.
No, we were competing proper. We were competing, like...
Very healthy competition, though, because we
very
benefited.
Healthy because
we benefited.
Yes, very healthy because we loved each other, you know, and we told each other, we appreciated each other's sound, and I would wait for whatever he produces, and because I knew I was going to like it, you know, and once you like it, now I want to obviously now come up with something better than his, but also different.
You know? Keep interjecting.
That song "Sweet My Baby" by Briggs. The first time I listened to the song, I thought I actually produced it. But it was actually DJ Cleo. I'm like, I'm like, what? It sounds like it sounds like my bass line.
So he likes heavy bass. Now I'm a bassist, so naturally the bass will be heavy. You know, so I mean, the master, the student, basically.
And having being big names during that time, Kalawa was quite popular during that time, and you guys were still young and upcoming, and so much has happened since then, eh?
So much. I mean, we've gone from vinyls to cassettes to CDs to now streaming, you know, and we've also just observed through the evolution and the proliferation of technology, we've observed income streams dwindle. With each passing year, you know, so we are here now, and the stage is different, you know, and the offerings are different. Nowadays, consumption rate is so high. Back then, you could release an album with one hit song, but that hit song would make sure that people buy the album and know the other songs, and therefore giving birth to the other songs, which then become hits because they listen to the whole thing. Nowadays, it's all about one song. People will bump into me and say, "Oh, release a name for it." Like, but I just dropped last month, you know, and then they know just that one song. And consumption rate is so fast, you know. If you think you have a hit today, 2 months later they'll be on to someone else.
And having said that, I'm actually glad you touched on that subject. Do you guys look at yourselves as being blown by the wind, by the musical winds? Because music evolves every now and then. There's new genres every single day. And, you know, we moved from Kwaito to Gom to now Amapiano. Are you riding on this wave of new musical genres that are emerging, or you just want to stick to your essence of who you are?
I think music evolves, man. Like this is
We're riding the music wave.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, and I always say this in my interviews. There's musicians,
Yeah.
and then there's musicians. You see, musicians
I take that.
make music.
Yes.
They play instruments.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We play instruments. He plays piano. I play a little bit of piano, but bass is my thing. So we can complement each other in a band situation. You see, and that transcends into the production. But then you get musicians. Those are people that dabble in the music space. They're not sure, you know, they press this and sometimes it works for them and then tomorrow they're doing that. So that difference speaks volumes.
Yeah. And Guffy, at what point did you decide then to move from Kwaito to Afropop? I mean, the fact that you decided to produce for Malaika.
Wait.
Just basing it on what he just said.
Yes.
By profession, he's a teacher. Yes.
I didn't know that.
So without him saying, I'm teaching you Cleo,
Yeah.
by just him making music, he taught me so much.
Wow.
You see, so you asking how he moved from one genre to another, that's how I can do everything as well. You understand?
And
Because
I get that question a lot. People asking me, how did you move from Kwaito to Afropop? But actually, if I remember very well, I mean, back in the day, they'll call me to work with Brenda Fassie. I was like, what?
Yo.
To work with Brenda Fassie? And I worked with her.
you are exposing your age.
It's okay.
So it was not a matter of moving from Kwaito to Afropop. I think it's just music is something else. I mean, I can play jazz, I can play whatever music, you know. So I grew up also like trying to play like R&B and ta-ta-ta-ta, you know. So it went from that side to this side.
And then it went to Vuga Maulele.
And
And it's not like you moved completely away from Kwaito, because say for instance, if Adama Fukate could call you for a collaboration on a Kwaito song, you would do it. You still do it.
Yeah.
You just dabble in the different musical genres.
even after Malaika, I worked on Brown Dash, Umtanga Zobolo.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you see, that's the beauty about being a musician and not a musician.
Yes.
Because music is a language, and we speak it well. Yeah.
And it's a movement, and music is a movement.
It's a
Yeah, no, of
movement,
course.
Yeah. So let's talk about the introduction of the hip hop in the early 2000s, like the likes of Pro Kid, Double HP, and as well as Proverb. Do you feel the pressure to start moving towards or riding that wave?
Not really. Remember, we do everything. So that's how Pitch Black Afro was born in 2004.
Okay.
But I found him in 2003, and we started working on the album, which then came out in 2004. You see, so it wasn't pressure. It was, I can do this, and I have so much of it, which I'm not utilizing. So let's.
Would you call it hip hop?
Pitch Black.
Yeah.
Pitch Black was full on hip hop.
Yeah.
We just had one song that's Kwaito. Tough on Tough.
That's actually a good question, because you know, blending hip hop and Kwaito is unheard of.
I mean, like
But
WHP.
it is a possibility, isn't it?
Double
Yes.
HP.
Double HP,
Hip
for
hop.
instance.
Panzul.
Hip hop
Panzula is not a
Right.
hip hop thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the emergence of artists such as KO, AKA, who really changed the game in the industry.
By mixing and
So
not
sampling as well,
and not sticking strictly to hip hop.
Yeah.
I mean, AKA, one of the biggest we've ever had. You know, he sampled a lot of house classics. You know, and
slowing them down.
Yeah, and it worked for him. You know, so you're not gonna argue and say he wasn't hip hop. No, he was hip hop, full on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you argue that they just mixed whatever was there, are you insinuating that perhaps they were not the pioneers of that particular genre?
No, AKA can't have been a pioneer. I think the earliest rapper we've had as South Africa is Sinyaka. Saturday, Sunday.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Sinyaka, and then Then came authentic, proper boom bap hip hop, Prophets of the City.
Prophets of the
Reddy
City.
D, Ishmael, Junior from Boom Shaka, Rashid or Rahim. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, from Cape Town. And that's like 1990, 1989, 1990, 91, 92, 93, 94. Yeah.
I think that was my first project there.
Yeah. So
Which project is it?
I can't remember what the name of the project was, but I was just like one of the producers there.
yeah. So Prophets of the City, those were the pioneers of South African hip hop. The first famous hip hop song would be Sinyaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Saturday Sunday. I forgot the name of the song, but then Prophets of the City, and then came Bokaramo, I think Skatlehong rap movement, Pockets, Mischief and Mischief. Then there was a Joburg scene, you know, Bo Mischief, Bo Amo, and so on. H2O, you know, Rage Records, Bo Maria and Kutlwano, you know, and then it just grew from there.
Wow, wow, you're also exposing your age.
His age, right?
Yeah.
There's been a raging debate about whether Kwaito music is dead. Is it really dead?
No, it is evolved. That's the word I can use. I think it's the best word you can use there.
It has evolved, you say.
The sound they are accustomed to is in hibernation, but the genre has evolved.
I like that when you say it's in hibernation,
The
because
sound,
music can never
the
die.
sound,
The sound can never really die.
No,
Because the fact that when you mix a song, an age-old song, it means that the song is still there. And it's still worth listening to.
Yeah.
All right, gents, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for helping us
So nice
reminisce.
to be here, actually. Thank you.
Awesome
Yes,
stuff.
Cleo.
Great stuff. We just spoke to award-winning music producers DJ Cleo and Godfrey Pilane on the evolution of music in South Africa.